When most people think of Egypt, their mind immediately goes to the beautiful pyramids that cover the land of this Middle Eastern country. One thing that not everyone is aware of is that the Pyramid of Giza is the oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and is the only one of the wonders that is still in existence. First, I'll tell you about the country of Egypt itself and some basic information on it, including a current event. Second, I'll tell you about the important cultural aspects of this Middle Eastern country. And last, I'll tell you about some unique communication behaviors that stem from the individuals in Egypt. I'm going to give you some brief information on the country. So the population is 83.9 million. The main language they speak is Arabic. The main religions are Islam and Christianity, and the capital is Cairo. The president of the country currently is Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And for the current event, a lot of people are already aware of the Egypt air crash that occurred in the Mediterranean Sea, and this happened when a flight was going from Paris to Cairo on May 19, 2016. And according to Carl Vick, who is a journalist for The Brief, he said that officials have pointed out that it was most likely a terrorist attack, but no terrorist group has taken responsibility for it yet. And because of this, new suspicions have been developed about what really could have happened on May 19th. Some people think that it was a new terrorist group that is responsible and wants to lay low and not take responsibility yet. And others believe that it could be a lone wolf that acted out and joined the 66 people who died on this flight. And that is why there has been an absence of a claim. Now, next are some cultural aspects of Egypt itself. So, eating habits in the daily life of an Egyptian native. A lot of people think their meals are erratic. According to the article, Food, Drink, and the Culinary Arts of Egypt, written by Torah Egypt, many people seem to view Egyptian meals as rather erratic. People in this country usually begin their day with a light breakfast of pickles, jams, cheeses, eggs, and beans. They then follow this meal up with a starchy lunch. Between lunch and dinner, they like to have a cup of tea, and then dinner is normally way later than what we people in the United States are used to. So they have a dinner party, and then the dinner parties start late, and then the dinner itself starts 2 hours later once the party starts. So that's just their basic everyday meals. And then rice and bread are the bulk of the main courses, while meat is found to be a luxury and normally served in small amounts with vegetables. Kebabs are also very popular, and kufta, which is a ground lamb, is rolled into meatballs and put onto a kebab. And lamb is one of the most popular meats in Egypt because pork is considered unclean by Muslims. And then besides just the food, and that has to do with the culture of Egypt, but also one of the main tourist attractions in Egypt that many people are aware of is the Pyramids of Giza. This is the last surviving of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. These pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs, and many people are shocked as to how they have lasted as long as they did. The Great Pyramid of Khufu is one of the 3 pyramids of Giza, and it is the biggest, tallest, and most intact of all the other pyramids. In the ancient world, this pyramid was the tallest building in the world until the Eiffel Tower was built. Lastly, I'm going to talk briefly about the unique communication aspects of Egypt. An interesting fact about Egyptian culture is that they were the first civilization to use nonverbal communication. And currently in today's society, Egyptian men greet each other with handshakes, and if they're close with the other individual, they may give the other man a kiss on the cheek. Men also tend to get super close to each other whenever they speak, and eye contact in the Egyptian culture is important and shows interest and respect. A way to symbolize if something is good or bad is to use either your left or your right hand. If an individual wants to show that something is unclean, they will use their left hand to pick it up. Eating with the left hand is something that would never be done. A way to symbolize if something is good or bad is to use either your left or right hand. If an individual wants to show that something is unclean, they will use their left hand. The left hand is associated with bodily hygiene, and the right hand is for eating. So obviously, eating with the left hand is something you should never do. So today, first I told you about some basic information on the country of Egypt, and then briefly mentioned a current event. Then I discussed some important cultural aspects of Egyptian society, and lastly, the nonverbal communication was touched on. It is always interesting to learn about other cultures and what they value. I noticed that every country is very different in their own ways, and that there are aspects that make each one unique.